Good morning, everybody. We're just waiting a couple of seconds to make sure everyone has joined us. You're more than welcome to the Codec and Yavrio presentation this morning to discover the next-gen banking experience with Yavrio and Business Central, hosted by Codec. We'll just give it another couple of moments, and then we'll break into who we are as Codec, and then Charlotte will do the heavy lifting, demonstrating the product and bringing through all the features. And then we'll finish up with a question and answer session towards the end. So I hope that sounds good for everybody. If everybody is here, let me see. Yes, Charlotte, will we just kick off with the first slide?
Yep.
So as I've mentioned, basically, I will introduce myself. I am the head of sales for FinSolve for Codec. And for the first couple of minutes, I'm going to introduce who we are, the product, and the baseline solution that we're going to be offering, which underpins Yavrio and the solution that you'll see for the rest of the session. So I'll be quite quick with that. So who we are. So the first slide, Charlotte, please. So Codec, we're 40 years old. And we're a multi-award-winning Microsoft partner. We've won Partner of the Year on many occasions, but we're the only partner in Ireland who have got all the accreditations for Microsoft. So we're one of only 13 across all of the UK, out of 2,600 partners. So basically what that means for you is that it's peace of mind. We're a one-stop shop. So we have accreditations across Dynamics 365, Power Platform, Business Central, which is core today, and obviously the buzzword at the moment, which is AI and infrastructure and your Azure. We are ISO accredited across security, deployment, etc., which also means that you're getting the best of breed for any project you take on with ourselves, and that we will follow the best process for you as a business and help guide you through any individual project with us. Next slide, please, Charlotte. So Codec, we've over 300 staff. We've been steadily growing over the 40 years our existence. The vast majority of our staff are based across in Ireland, the UK and Northern Ireland as well. We've some people deployed across Europe because we've got European deployments as well, but primarily our base is in Ireland. And what that means is that we are very driven by consultancy and delivery. So there's very few salespeople like myself bringing the business in. But for you as a client, it means that the vast majority of our experience and wealth of knowledge is passed to you from our consulting team. And you can see from the slide where the vast majority of that skill set is. As I say, it's in technical services and professional services, and they are the true geniuses behind Codec and our knowledge in the market and why we have been Partner of the Year on multiple occasions. The product is excellent, but also you need the people behind it to translate the efficiencies to you as a business. Charlotte, next slide, please. So underpinning today's demonstration is Business Central. So that's the ERP that we're presenting. It's the Microsoft ERP of choice. It's been named the best ERP system globally in 23 and 24 by Forbes. We're hoping to get that again in 25, and it's looking good. But like any ERP, Business Central serves your sales team, service, finance, operations, all in a single application. Now, you as an individual business may not want project management, and that's fine. Your license will cover that, but we only configure the operations that you need. Business Central is a SaaS application, so it's available anywhere on any device, which gives you flexibility and mobility, and obviously then feeds very much into the Yavrio application as well, as an app that fits within that. So this is your core solution underpinning everything. As I say, it's been building for multiple years, and its recognition is seen there across the globe. It's very much recognized in the Gartner quadrant as well. So it's a leading product and bringing innovation to you as businesses at any time. So the final slide, Charlotte. So one of the core values of Business Central is that it's part of the Microsoft stack, as I've mentioned a couple of times before. So in the chart here, you have Business Central at your top, but then naturally embedded with that, you have Outlook, Teams, Excel. So all those features that you know every day are available to you. So you can take orders through Outlook. You can import and export all your data through Excel. You can communicate through your Teams network across the division. You can share Business Central screens, even if you're not a user, to collaborate and to build that. Then you've got all the standard Microsoft development tools, the Power Platforms. So if you want to grow your application, you can simply add a Power App for standard functions. You can add automation. And again, this whole model of Business Central and Microsoft and how it ties together very much lends itself to Yavrio. Yavrio has come on over the last number of years as a product that we recommend to every single client. I haven't seen one in the last number of years where it hasn't been installed. And the reason for that is it becomes fundamental to operating your business. All of these power platforms, all of these accessories are to make your job easier, to make access to information simpler. And Yavrio very much is part of that. So I've for years been looking at applications where we're downloading CSV files, we're doing reconciliations, we're doing a lot of manual applications. And Yavrio takes that requirement away. It automates things very simply, and Charlotte will go through that over the next 40, maybe 45 minutes, and you'll truly understand the value of that, because what we wish to do for you as a client is to make your life simpler, remove manual day-to-day tasks, and keep things as straightforward and simple as possible, so you can manage your business, you can look at new opportunities, you can look at how to expand your customer base, whatever that may be, without having to an awful lot of administration. So that is where Business Central as a core application comes into its own, and Yavrio and extensions like that just extend that functionality further. So that's us in a nutshell. I will let Charlotte, as I say, bring the brains to this operation and show you through the product. I hope you all enjoy it. And Charlotte, I'll pass across to yourself.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Tony, for such an amazing opening. So yeah, I love that, the Codec one-stop shop for Microsoft application platform. We would also like to say Yavrio is also a one-stop shop, but for a different thing. We are a one-stop shop for your financial operations. So I'll move on to the Yavrio slides. So in today's webinar, I will firstly go through a few presentation slides to go through Yavrio's solution overview, and later on I will deliver a live demonstration in Business Central. So firstly, let's start by talking about what are the problems that we are solving here. So for Yavrio, there are two key problems that we are solving, which is time spent and security. Essentially, we exist to simplify, automate, and secure your financial operations, eliminating the file-based manual process via the direct API integration. Our solution can be broken into two major modules, cash ops and bank fees, and I can pretty much summarize what we do in 3 words: connect, get, send. Connect. Currently, we can connect to 10,000 bank accounts across the UK, EU, and the USA via our plug-and-play open banking API integration. And after connecting your bank account in Business Central or FNO, you will then be able to import a transaction directly into BC. And the point here is without using any files. So not only do we provide this sort of integration for transaction imports, we also support payment functionality. So let's look at the bank fee sectors. So under the bank fee module, we provide the live banking data, so which means you will be able to view the real-time online bank balance directly within BC. That also means you don't have to be constantly switching between your ERP system and your bank, because everything will be within the same place. On top of that, as mentioned, we connect to 10,000 bank accounts via the open banking API integration. If there's any specific banks or in very specific regions that is not part of the 10,000 bank accounts coverage, we can always do a bespoke premium treasury API connection. And this year, we are also bringing in our new feature, Magic Bank Rec, which we use our own AI tool to enhance your matching on the bank account reconciliations page and payment reconciliation journals. On the cash ops, we have the embedded payment outbound. As mentioned, in the UK, we support faster payments, back payments, and international payments. This year, we are also looking to bring in the embedded payments inbound, such as direct debit management system and taking the card payment as well. On top of that, for the security is always the most important thing at Yavrio. So we are also looking to develop confirmation of payee and payment validation features. So later on in the live demonstration, you will be able to see the features that I've just mentioned on this presentation slide, on the previous presentation slide. In terms of the coverage, you will see for the open banking side, we have the coverage across UK, EU, and the US. On top of that, if there's a very specific region such as UAE, Sweden, or some other parts of the world, we can also fulfill your requirements via the Treasury connection. And our solution is designed to easily integrate into the new or the existing ERP systems without any hassles. So currently we can integrate to Business Central and F&O, but of course, more to come, and we will keep you posted. And we also like to say we are guided by our North Star Zero principles. So zero setup, Yavrio's solution is very easy to use, very straightforward. Just install Yavrio's app and you are good to go. Zero files, no manual files or data entry are needed. Zero training, because it's so easy to use, so you don't even need training. But of course, if you would like a training session, we are still happy to deliver a training session for you. Zero configuration, that is because we handle everything behind the scenes and we make it an easy application for our users to use. In terms of customers, currently we have more than 100 customers to almost 200 customers now. And just in case you are wondering who they are, here are a big names for your reference. Some FAQs, Yavrio is trusted by global enterprises, including world-famous institutions and organizations. Most importantly, we are also registered with FCA, compliant with PSD2. Is Yavrio cost effective? We do have two different pricing structure based on your requirements. If you only require transaction imports, we do have a set price for that. But on the other hand, if you require both of the transaction imports as well as the payments, there's a more competitive packaged price list that we have. So what I will do now is I will stop sharing and come back to Business Central. Okay, cool. Yeah. So as you can see, we are on the lovely Business Central page. So as mentioned, for those 10,000 bank accounts coverage, feel free to visit our website to check more information from here. You could even filter by country and just to see what are the bank institutions that we can connect by default. So now when we come back to BC, as mentioned, Yavrio's setup is very straightforward. You would just need to install Yavrio's app from the Microsoft App Source page. Once you've installed Yavrio's app, the first step to do when you come back to BC will be to register a Yavrio account by searching for Yavrio setup. So once you click on Yavrio setup, it will give you a short form that's requesting you to provide some information, such as the company registration address and the company number from the company's house. So when we receive the registration from you, we will then perform a KYC check. So KYC, as in know your customer, that's part of our due diligence checks that we always have to do for every single registration. And that is because Yavrio, we are FCA compliant. And let's say after the KYC check, if everything is all good, we will then activate your Yavrio accounts. In the meantime, you will receive a notification email from us saying your Yavrio account has been activated. From that point, you are good to go to connect your bank accounts in Business Central by going into the bank accounts page. So on this page, as you can see, I've created a list of the bank account cards. So to link those bank account cards to your real bank account, simply click on Bank Statement Service, Connect Bank Accounts. So on this page, depending on where your bank institution is based, you will just need to input the country code. So for example, for today's demonstration, I'm going to connect to my NatWest UK bank account. So for that case, I will then type in the country code GB for the UK bank institutions. Once I've clicked on OK, you will see there are lots of bank institutions that we can connect. So for this case, I would strongly recommend you directly search for the banking institution that you are looking to integrate. So let's search for my NatWest Sandbox account. So on this page, you will then see a QR code and a link for you to click, which means you could either scan the QR code or click on the link to log in into your bank portal. When I click on the link, you will then see it will take you to a separate tab that's outside of BC, which means we don't store your sensitive login credentials. So from here, I will just log in as usual using my credentials. Click on continue. So once I've logged in into my bank, you will then see I currently have 2 bank accounts. So if I like, I can select both of the bank accounts at once. So for some cases, we do have the clients who require connecting to, for example, 200 bank accounts, not really at once because they do have multiple entities. But for that case, you can then select multiple bank accounts and then connect at once. So for example, between those 2 bank accounts, I would like to only connect to my very healthy and wealthy bank account, as you can see on the page. And I will confirm access for just 1 account. So once the authentication is successful, then the tab will automatically disappear and bring you back to BC. It will then bring you back to the bank account connection consent page. So what I'm doing here is I'm just going to link that connection back to the specific NatWest bank account card that I've already created in BC. And click on yes to update and save. So when you look at my bank account card, you will then see the NatWest has the bank account card has been connected to the real bank account. On the right-hand side, you will see there's a consent expiry date, and that is because of the FCA regulation. So after 90 days, the consent token will expire. So you will just need to click on the individual bank account card and simply renew the consent to keep it connected for another 90 days. And then after every 180 days, you will just need to reconnect your bank accounts by clicking on Bank Statement Service, Connect Bank Accounts, logging into your bank, and reconnect. So essentially, there's a process in place that you will have to do for every 180 days. And again, that's for your security, and that is also because we are FCA compliant. Okay, so if we click on the individual bank account card, on the right-hand side, as mentioned, you will be able to view the real-time online bank balance. And by default, there's a job queue that's running every hour. So you will be able to see the hourly updates within the bank account card. If you scroll down a little bit, you will then see I've connected my bank accounts and there's a live balance from bank. If you do need to see the live balance from bank multiple times throughout the day, you could always click on Update Live Balance to get the latest information. In the middle section, this is the Yavrio BACS payment setup section. So in terms of Yavrio's BACS payment solution, what we do is we connect directly with a BACS bureau, which is APS, Absolute Payment Solutions. So there will be a little bit more pre-setup to do to enable the BACS solution. But yeah, we will cover what it looks like in terms of how to send the BACS payment out. So to set up BACS payments, you will just need to get a service user number from your bank. In the meantime, we will provide the bureau service user number, the BSUN from our BACS bureau, and then we will generate the BACS payment profile ID for you. And this is unique to every business. Okay, So just a few pre-setup to do within BC to get your bank account connected. Once you are connected to your bank account, you are good to go to import some transactions in BC. So what I'm going to take you to would be the bank account reconciliations page. So on this page, without Yavrio, you would typically need to click on New and then download the statement, upload into the BC. But now, with Yavrio installed and registered, you would just need to click on this Yavrio button, which is Auto Run or Bank Recs. If you click on Auto Run or Bank Recs, you could even enable show date formulas to automatically bring your transactions in whatever frequency you prefer. So for example, if you prefer to do the daily bank rec, then you could set the frequency to run on a daily basis. In the meantime, you could also enable this apply automatically button. So this is actually the business central button that it's the same when you click on match and then match automatically. So what's happening here if I've enabled both of the toggles at the same time? That means in the next day, when I go into the office, all of the transactions will be automatically imported in BC using Yavrio's API integration. In the meantime, if you have the bank account ledger entries, Business Central will automatically match those bank account ledger entries against the transactions that you imported from your bank and using Yavrio's solution. So essentially, this is the automatic way that you could just conduct your daily bank rec. The semi-automatic way would be you could select any specific day range. For example, if you like, you could select the whole month from 1st of August to 31st of August. Or let's just try to bring some transactions in from 8th of September to 9th of September. And let's create new reconciliation. Once I've clicked on OK, supposedly it should give me the bank statement lines from both of my Deutsche Bank and NatWest Bank accounts. Because my Deutsche Bank didn't have transactions, so it's only giving me my NatWest transactions. So now let's have a look. Once I've clicked on my NatWest Bank Rec, it will then be able to see all of the transactions from 8th of September until 9th of September until now will then appear under the bank statement lines. So for the following process, you will then follow through the standard BC functionality by clicking on matching. So yeah, again, you can match automatically or match manually or even reconcile with Copilot. Or now you have a different option, which is using Yavrio's Magic Bank Rec functionality. We do have a separate recording for our Magic Bank Rec, and I will be happy to share with attendees after this webinar. So essentially what Yavrio is doing here is we help you import those transactions in a more efficient and also secure way. Efficient as in you could use auto run or bank recs, automatically bring the transactions in by enabling show date formulas. More secure, as you can see for the whole process, I no longer need to use any files anymore. And only apart from the initial connection stage, I also don't have to switch between my bank and ERP system. So yeah, that's essentially what it looks like in terms of the transaction import. If you do prefer to bring in your bank statement lines on the payment reconciliation journals, you could do that as well. So I'm just going to quickly go to payment reconciliation journals and just show you where the Yavrio button is. Auto run or bank recs. And for the rest of the process will be exactly the same. Okay, so this is the transaction import. I will then now take you to the payment journals page to show you how to send the payment out. So when I go to payment journals, actually, I will switch back to my general payment journals. So on this page, I've already prepared two vendor payments. So typically you would use the default BC functionality and then suggest vendor payment or suggest employee payments. So now I've suggest two vendor payments with a £500 value. So to use Yavrio to initiate the payment directly from BC without using any files, you will just need to make sure your balancing account type is set to be bank account, and the balancing account number will be from your bank account's card that you wish to send a payment from. Okay, so to send the payment out, as usual, you will click on bank. But rather than clicking on the export payment files, you now have this Yavrio button to click, which is send payment to bank. When you click on send payment to bank, there's a drop down options. There are a few options that you can choose from here. So the first one, bank transfer. If you select bank transfer, this payment method, and try to send a payment from your UK bank institution GBP account, then that means the payments will be sent by faster payments. If you select bank transfer and try to send it from your EU bank institution Euro accounts, then the payments will be sent via SEPA payments. On the other hand, if you wish to send BACS payments, then you could also select the BACS payment method to enable to send the bulk UK domestic payments. In the end, if you do need to send global payments, we partner with Axie.com, so you will then select Axie to send the international payments. Okay, so firstly, let's try to send a faster payment or SEPA payment out. So I will click on bank transfer, as faster payments are typically used for sending the same day or more like emergency payments. So for the scheduled payment date, I would actually leave it for today, 9th of September, and click on next. So as we don't store your sensitive bank login credentials, so on this page, you will then scan the QR code or click on the link to log in into your bank again. So once I've click on continue and logging into my bank portal, this is what I see. And by the way, the page that you are looking at right now is the final approval stage. So which means if you do have the approval flow set up within your bank, it will still respect that approval flow. Okay, so as the final approver, I can see the first £200 faster payments will then sit nicely within the bank portal. Everything looks so good, I will then confirm the payments. And once the authentication is successful, then the tab will automatically disappear and bring you back to BC. So if you do have more faster payment to proceed, then you can proceed to the next. So once I've successfully sent the first faster payment out, then the payment status, we will automatically overwrite it for you to complete it. We will also overwrite the payment method to bank transfer. So on this page, just by looking at this page, you may have a question in your head. Okay, so I actually have two faster payments I need to send, but it seems that it's only sending the first faster payment out. So does that mean every time I will need to log in into the bank to approve individual faster payments? So the answer would be, okay, it depends on which bank institution you use. Because for Yavrio's faster payments or SEPA payments solution, we connect to individual banks' open banking API. So the capability of sending faster payments or SEPA payments will be depending on which bank you use. Which is why, for that case, after 1 year of talking to many of the clients, we've realized that BACS payments would be the major payment method that most of the business would actually prefer to use. That is because the cost that you pay to your bank for sending BACS payments will be typically a lot cheaper than sending faster payment out. So just to show you the difference, what I'm going to do now is I will then reset the payment. This time, it's still the same payment that I'm going to send it out with a combined value £500. But this time I would like to send it via BACS. What I would do is I will still click on send payment to bank. But for the payment method, I will then select BACS to send the bulk UK domestic payments. For the scheduled payment dates, as for the nature of the BACS payments, it just takes T plus 2 working days to settle the funds, which is probably why it's cheaper when you pay to your bank. So for that case, I will need to select as list from 11th of September. Okay, what if I don't? What if I just wanted to try my luck and select tomorrow and click on next? So for this case, our system will actually block you from selecting the wrong dates. And so now let's come back and select 11th of September and click on next. So there's a difference between faster payments and BACS payments, as you can see on the page. So for the BACS payments, it will give you the total lines and total value here. And when you click on yes to proceed with a BACS payment. Again, we will overwrite the payment status, schedule payment date, and payment method for you directly on the payment journals. So currently the status will be awaiting authorization. So the approver will then go into the email inbox. And then the approver will receive an email from no reply at yavrio that's requesting them to approve the £500 BACS payments. When I click on review payments, it will then take me to the Yavrio portal where I will log in using my Microsoft account. And it will take me straight to the £500 BACS payment. As the approver, before I approve this payment, I will be able to look at the payment details, such as sort code and account number of my vendors. For the security purpose, the approvers can only either approve or reject the payment. They will not be able to change any payment details within this portal. At the top, you can also see the payment summary, including which bank account that I'm sending the BACS payment from. Okay, as the approver, I would like to approve this app using the Authenticator app. Authorize the payment. So once I've approved the payments on the authorization logs, you will be able to see who submitted the payments as well as who submitted the payments at what time, what day. So when we come back to BC, so it could be someone else who's preparing the payments, someone else approving the payments. So let's pretend I am someone else preparing the payments. And now, after 20 minutes, I wanted to check whether those two BACS payments have been approved. What I can do is I can click on Get Payment Status. Then the payment status will then change to pending. So by the cutoff time today, we will then submit the BACS payment request to our BACS bureau. But of course, everything will happen automatically in the background. And on 11th of September, if I open up this payment journals again or click on Get Payment Status, then the payment status should change to completed in green. So from there, I can then post this payment journals. Another common question here would be, okay, so I understand there's a difference between faster payments and BACS payments approval flow. So now I've approved the payment within Yavrio's portal. Do I have to approve it again within my bank as well? So the answer would be no. You don't have to approve it again within your bank. And that's exactly the whole reason why that we've designed a separate portal to essentially help you mirror your approval flow. But just the difference is it will then happen within Yavrio's portal. So regarding approval flow setup, you will be able to get into the user management page. And typically, we will sit together with you on the call to set up your approval flow. So for example, let's say I am the first authorizer within Yavrio. I will then be given the admin account. And once I've logged into this portal, I will be able to create more new users and just input my colleague's name and email. I could even select between two different roles. For example, if I set one of my colleagues as a user role, that means whoever got this user role, they will not have access into this user management page. And for any payments that's above 10K, it will not go through this user account. On the other hand, if I set my colleague as an admin account, that means whoever got this admin account will have the same authority as me, and they will have the access in the user management page and will also be able to approve unlimited maximum authorization value. At the top, if you have the dual approval flow that you need to set up, you could set two approvers are required to approve the payments. If you do have the internal policy of whoever submitting the payments cannot authorize, you can enable this toggle as well and click on Updates. Within this portal, when you click on the payments page, you will also be able to keep track of all of the pending payments as well as approved and reject payments. But just a quick note here, when it says pending, it doesn't mean the real BACS payment status, because for the real BACS payment status, you would be able to check it directly in BC on here, the payment status. So what it means by pending payments, that purely means those are the payments waiting for me to approve. And it's the same to the approved and reject payments. That simply means those are the payments waiting for, I already approved or reject before. Okay, so that's essentially what it looks like in terms of how to send the domestic payments. For the final part of this demonstration, I will also go through the global payments. So I will actually switch to a different payment batch. So on this payment batch, I've prepared two global payments that I'm going to send it from my NatWest GBP accounts. One of them, I'm going to send it to my US vendor in USD. The other one, I'm going to send it to my Swedish vendor in SEK, the Swedish currency. Okay, so to send a global payment out, we partner with xe.com. So for that case, you would click on xe, pay with xe. So it will also give you this preview message to show you which settlement currency you are sending the payment from, which payment currency you are sending the payment to. So as you can see, there's a currency conversion happening here from GBP to USD and SEK. Let's click on OK. When I click on OK, it will then take me to the XE contract, and there will be an 85 seconds of the live quote. So this is the live quotes, the live exchange rates provided by XE. And based on this live quote, it will automatically calculate the total costs for you. And you can see currently the fee is 0. And that is because I am doing the currency conversion here. So the FX margin has been included. So which is why the fee is 0. If you do send a payment, that's say from your USD currency account to your US vendor, for that case, there might be some transaction fee will then incurred. But good news to you, whatever you are currently paying to your bank to process global payments, if you choose XE, you will then now pay the bank, the costs to your bank, you will then now pay to XE, which means you won't be double paying the transaction or FX costs on both parties. And if you use XE, you get the benefits of having this integration directly to your ERP system. So let's say I am happy to proceed. I will then confirm the XE contract, continue. Okay, so contract confirmed, which means we've locked in this exchange rate, and this is the total cost that we are going to pay. And because I'm sending it from my GBP account, so it will be 174.78 GBP. So to send a payment out between Yavrio and Axie, we have this very unique joint proposition, which will allow you to be able to settle with express bank transfer using Yavrio's API integration. So when we click on yes to continue, it will then take you to the Yavrio web checkout. On the right-hand side, you will be able to see the payment details. So it will be 174.78 GBP to High FX Euro Limited is the legal entity of Axie.com. And you also have this MPT reference number that's associated to this global payment. Okay, everything is all good. Let's authorize the payments. And continue. So once I've logged into my bank, the magical thing just happened. I will then see the 174.78 GBP payments will then sit nicely within my bank portal to Axie. As the final approver, I confirm the payments. And once it's successful, then the tab will automatically disappear. When we come back to BC, you will see there's a new notification. It says settlement authorized by Yavrio. Axie is processing your payments. So here, the settlement status will also change to settlement submitted. So you may have a question. So how do I keep track of all of the global payments that I've sent in BC? You could simply search for Axie contract. So for this case, this is the payments that I've just sent. It's currently at settlement submitted, which doesn't mean my vendors have already received the payments. But as soon as the settlement status has changed to settled, that means my vendors have already received the payments and it's settled. You could always click on the previous Axie contract number to view the payment history. So yeah, this is the previous payments that I've sent. You could even click on view Axie contract note. And if you need to download the remittance advice, you could download the file from here. So yeah, I think that's pretty much everything from how to connect your bank accounts to how to import transactions as well as sending domestic and global payments. Any questions? I'll stop sharing now.
If there's nothing coming through from the audience, Charlotte, how is the product priced?
Very good question. So we do have two sets of the price list. One would be a packaged price for the clients who require both of the bank fees, such as transaction imports, as well as the payments, and it will be more competitive. And it's based on it's tiered based pricing. So based on how many bank accounts you connect in BC and how many BACS payments you send from BC.
Okay, so there's a flat price for a single, and then it elevates up that
Yeah,
as you.
that's correct.
Okay, and the very little installation time, like we only recommend a day generally. That's your average across clients.
Yes. So yeah, the setup time, it's actually very straightforward. Apart from the BACS, there will be some setup that you will need to do with your bank to get the service user number and connect to the BSAN. But apart from that, it's very straightforward.
So finally, well, if in case anyone else has anything to ask,
Mhm.
number of bank accounts you'd said, there was thousands. Have you come across any in the UK and Ireland that you haven't been able to deal with at the moment, or what would happen if
Mm,
that was the case?
Yeah, so if your bank institution or a bank account type falls out of the 10,000 bank accounts coverage, we can always connect via a bespoke connection via directly connecting to the bank's treasury API.
Okay, and I say with
Yeah.
10,000, that doesn't happen very often.
Yeah, it doesn't really happen very often.
Excellent.
Mhm.
Does anyone who's attending have a question? Just want to type it into the chat box before we wrap it up. I'll give a few seconds now just in case there's anything coming through.
Oh, we do have a promotion that we would like to announce.
Excellent. Yes.
which is whoever attended this webinar, if you signed up Yavrio within 1 month, we will then offer 3 months free trial. But just
Oh,
remember
excellent.
to put 3 months free trial in the email, so then I will
Excellent.
recognize it's coming from this webinar.
Should have added that to the invite. Okay, look, it doesn't look like we're going to get any more questions. For everyone who's attended, thank you very much. I hope you find it useful. This will be recorded so it can be shared later. So, if you want to follow up, please do. And as I say, we can share this later. Charlotte, thank you very much. It was an excellent presentation. I thought it went very well, and hopefully everyone else who attended did as well. But thank you for that. I think
Thank you, Tony.
we'll close it off there.
Amazing.
Thank you.
Have a good day, everyone. Take
You
care.
too. Take care.
Bye.
Bye now.